Alright, Lions, so today we finally got news that I know a lot of people have been waiting for a very long time, because today we have official confirmation that Bleach Soul Resonance is still alive and is happening hopefully still sometime this year. And for those that are new and don't really know much about this game, understandably so, it's been complete silence for the last year. Essentially, the game was almost about to release. We were literally about to have a beta test, but unfortunately, ByteDance, who owned Nuverse at the time, the game's publishers, basically decided to shut down their game part of the company, and that left Soul Resident in a very awkward position because now they don't have a publisher. The game wasn't officially out yet, so is it going to get cancelled? Well, fortunately for us, the people that worked at the team fought to keep the game alive, but since then, this happened at the end of November of 2023, it's been understandably so radio silence, and we've only just been getting small little bit of information from inside sources saying the game's still happening, it's just being developed under the radar, and when the timing is right, they'll make an announcement and then start the marketing push once more. And today is essentially the start of that, because if we come over to the Chinese website of the game, we have a whole new updated website, new visual art, Ichigo cutting down Fishbone D, and then if we scroll down to, we also have new screenshots of the game, and we can potentially point out some of the changes that have been made since we did get access to the game in the pre-alpha state like a year and a half ago. Now, before we do have a look at the images and see what actually changed over the last year, we have a message from the producer himself, and I'm not gonna lie, I've already read it, but I got very excited reading this, so let's actually break down what they have to say. So, first and foremost, to all players, long time no see. I am the producer of Boundary Blade. For the record, this is translated from Chinese, but this basically means Bleach Soul Resonance, and I'm very grateful for your long-time attention to Bleach Soul Resonance. In this quiet year, everyone must have been worried whether the project is still alive, and I'm deeply sorry that I was unable to respond to everyone's concerns and questions in the first place, but today I can tell you with certainty, we are still alive and have never stopped developing. Man, what a sentence. What an absolute sentence. That just got me so excited. As we all know, we did go through a very difficult period last year, and it can be said that one foot was already on the edge of a cliff. And it really was. From the people that I and my friends knew that worked on the team, it didn't look that good from the inside, I will be honest. And it really is thanks to them that they were able to get this game to continue in the first place. But in this uncertain process, the research and development team still maintains an optimistic and positive attitude and continues to work without paying attention to what is happening outside. Almost everyone is telling me with their actions, no matter how the external environment changes, we want to make the game. It is this simple persistence that allowed us to survive the chaos and confusion of last year, and finally we can see the moon after the clouds have cleared. In short, everything is moving in a good direction, and the game will meet you in the near future. And that, honestly, is all we needed to hear. Now, with that, that's not the only thing he does say. There's actually quite a lot of other stuff that he mentions. But this is more so just the producer talking about what Bleach means to him, and how they are trying to stay true to the source material, that being Bleach. But with that, if we continue to scroll down, we do get some new gameplay. Very brief gameplay, just showing some of the mechanics. In this case, this is Byakuya parrying, but there is some notable difference that I do want to point out here. For starters, the hit counter looks completely different. I'd say it looks better, but one of the big things you are going to notice if you actually played the game originally is they've changed the icons for the characters, and there's actually new characters on display here. The first one being in the top right, Sergeant. Now, Sergeant we did know was in development during the pre-alpha test. He wasn't playable, so this is actually one of our first new playable characters that we can see in-game. Unfortunately, not seen any gameplay of him, but this pretty much does confirm him as a playable character. And then Ikaku was playable, and he now has a different icon, so new art. Scrolling down and continuing on, this is another example of the parry mechanic, Chad parrying a long-range attack, reflecting it and actually breaking the enemy's guard. I believe I've also noticed they've changed the icons for some of the characters, because if we scroll up, we actually can see a bit more individuality with the images representing the character you are using here, as we do see Senbon Zakura, the blade with some petals alongside it, and then Chad is actually using his Fullbringer. And by the way, if you did actually miss our original breakdown of the game when I got access to the pre-alpha, I do find it really cool that they call already Chad and Orihime Fullbringers. But once more, just like Ikaku, Orihime, and Ichigo, basically everyone in this game has seen a design change in terms of artwork, which I think is actually really good. After that, they still continue to showcase the parry mechanics. This is, I forgot his name. It's one of Grimjal's Fraction, I believe. I want to say D-Roy, but I don't know if it's D-Roy. I don't recall him being a boss or a fight in the pre-alpha, so I guess this is a new boss that we can actually go against, which is pretty cool. And that's looking pretty cool too with the whole parry mechanic. Again, the parry mechanic in this game was actually really fun. But we do get a pretty cool comment here. So in short, most of the content of the current public beta has been developed. So we might be getting a public beta test sometime soon. And we are still continuing to optimize and add some new gameplay on the original basis. The art and UI have been iterated and renewed, and the special effects have been fully upgraded. The production of many familiar new characters such as Yoruichi, Momo, and Nemu have also been completed one after the other. And other popular characters such as Aizen and Gin have also entered the fine tuning stage, waiting to meet everyone one day. So that's really cool. So we have official confirmation that Momo, Nemu, and Yoruichi are also now playable. Now, if you've been keeping up with the very small bit of information that has been leaking over the last year, the real new confirmation here is Nemu, Gin, and also Aizen, because we did get this image leaked like a few months ago that did confirm Yoruichi was playable alongside also Toshiro, and we also saw Momo there. But nonetheless, it is really cool to see characters are now basically complete, and the idea that they are working on Aizen and Gin is kind of exciting, because when you actually do fight Aizen in the story mode, he had some really cool mechanics, and I kind of want to see that as an actual playable character. Continuing on with the producer message though, next up we have the road ahead. So new plot content is being developed intensively. The main storyline will start from the day when Ichigo becomes a Soripa, substitute Soripa, and continues to the bloody battle. Now remember, this is being translated from Chinese. What they mean here is 1000-year blood war. Now some of us already knew we were going to be going to 1000-year blood war, but this pretty much is confirmation that the game will cover the entirety of Bleach, from the start of the original anime all the way to the end of 1000-year blood war. The atmosphere of the main city will continue to be optimized, whether it is Karakura Town or Soul Society. More passerby NPCs and side quests will be added. We are still polishing the gameplay, striving to bring everyone a more refreshing action experience while also returning the characteristics of the original Bleach anime. The next focus at present is to balance and differentiate the characters so that different characters can adapt to different lineups and levels. Although the current combat mechanics take into the account of the restoration of IP combat and the sense of operation to a considerable extent, I think what they are trying to say here, because the, again, translation's a bit awkward, is that they are trying to stay very true to the original Bleach IP. With that though, the only drawback is the lack of grand aerial combat scenes in the original. In our imagination, aerial combat should have a completely different gaming experience from ground combat, but unfortunately there are relatively large development difficulties in terms of time and also resources. Despite this, we will still take air combat as a research and development direction, and perhaps you'll be able to play and experience it in certain levels or gameplay in the future. That's kind of cool. So overall, key takeaway from this entire producer message is that the new things we did learn is that new characters have been developed. Momo, Nemu, Sajin, Toshiro, and also Yoruichi. Characters like Gin and Aizen are in the final stages of development. The game itself will be covering the entirety of Bleach, going from the substitute Soripa arc all the way to 1000-year blood war. And alongside that, they also have plans to potentially do some aerial combat, which is actually pretty cool. Now, apparently there's still more to talk about. I didn't realize there was this much text, but now we have the last words. So like everyone else, our biggest goal at the moment is to bring Bleach Soul Resonance to everyone as soon as possible. Even though largely was not smooth, we never thought of stopping. Even when writing this letter, I suddenly remembered the first demo of the project I made before, recreating the scene of Ichigo and Okyura fighting at the top of Wikumundo. Ichigo was once defeated by his opponent and was pierced through the chest by a huge black Zero, and when it seemed like failure was a foregone conclusion, it was the call of his companion that made him survive and transform into a stronger state to defeat the powerful enemy. And with that in mind, during the lull period, our group name was also changed to Save Me Kurosaki-san. That's just so sweet. That's so cool. Shout out to the developers, man. And incredibly, the prophecy came true. After all, just like Ichigo at that time, the clouds were cleared and the sun was seen, and he lived towards another day, another death, I guess. Again, translation there, I think, kind of messed up the message, but this is really sweet. Really, really sweet. Very much do appreciate this producer message, and it does give us a clear insight on what's basically happened over the last year and what they're currently doing right now. This is pretty much the only information that we do have regarding the game right now, and I'd say it's quite understandably so. And with that, we'll probably get more information in the coming months. Official social media platforms also getting updated, because right now it's pretty much just the Chinese website and also this tap page that even talks about the continuation of this game. But now let's have a look at some of the new updated screenshots. Again, this right now seems to be the new key visual for the game. I'm like just starting it right from the early parts of Bleach, right when Ichigo gets his powers. You can see Ruki in the back, Fishbone D slashed in half. I think it's like the perfect way to show that you are coming back. The second image here, this seems to be Ichigo's new artwork, by the way, which I think is actually a lot better compared to the original one. It's Ichigo versus Zangetsu. Really cool that Zangetsu here is using a different blade. And they're also showcasing one of their abilities. I believe this is Uryu's. I forgot what it was called, but certain characters in this game have an additional attack that you can do as long as they are part of the team. I think the UI looks a tad bit different, but I can't really remember all that much. Our second image is a fight between Ichigo and also Byakuya. Pretty much tells us the same thing, but again, I believe this is now Rukia's new artwork, which looks significantly better. One of the things I told the devs, which to be fair, wasn't even like crazy feedback because it was like early testing. A lot of the art in that game was a placeholder. The game wasn't finished, but like Rukia's artwork was terrible, and now with this, it looks way better. And we can actually see that here. So one of the things that they have changed here is the background for starters. It looks way better. This is the team select screen. You do make teams of 3. The posing also looks different, and we do have the characters on the right, and there are also rarities in this game, so all the characters you are seeing here are SR characters, super rares, and they're indicated by the purple background, and then you can see Kaku in the top there, briefly hidden. He's an SSR, so he does have a yellow background. All the artwork looks so much better, though. I can't stress that enough. It's a lot more consistent, too. A lot of the artwork was very inconsistent. Some had really good ones, some had really bad ones. They didn't look like they were from the same game. Now they very much do, and one of the things you are going to notice with the character artwork, even in the modeling, right, is that they are kind of going with that 1,000-year Blood War aesthetic. So when we do eventually get to the 1,000-year Blood War part of the game, there won't be a different art style between early Soul Society and then late 1,000-year Blood War stuff. Everything will look like it's from the same arc, which I think is a good thing. And then we can also see another example of the character's artwork. In this case, Ichigo, SSR, and also Byakuya are now on display. Really liking Byakuya's artwork. And overall, like they already stated, very much does seem like the game has been improved, and at least to me, that's pretty exciting to see. So there you have it, the day a lot of us have been waiting for. Bleach Soul Resonance lives on, and hopefully over the coming months, maybe even weeks, we actually don't know when we're going to get our next update, we do continue to get updates. Like I mentioned, right now, the only news of this is on their TapTap page and also the Chinese website. There's still nothing on social media. There's still nothing regarding the global version of the game. But I would like to say it's still safe to say global is still coming out. So with that in mind, subscribe to the channel. We are going to continue to update you lads whenever we do get news regarding Soul Resonance on both the Chinese version and the global version. I think the next thing we do get is a global update, and they'll probably get the same update that we just got today regarding the new images, and maybe an official translation of the producer message. Either way though, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.